This is the weekly reading for Wednesday, July 16th. If you're new to my YouTube channel, welcome. My name is Carolyn Marie Yakopich, and know that whenever you come to this video, no matter what day it is the time that you are meant to hear it. There will be something here for you. Take what resonates, leave the rest, and also know that time is irrelevant. We are in a place in the world now where we are living beyond time and space, and that is our true nature. So know that everything is fluid and timeless here in this video. So we're going to start with a little bit of a clearing and calling in the highest and greatest good for everyone who is here on this call, that these messages find those that they are meant for, that we are connected into the highest and greatest good for each individual and also for the collective of all of humanity, for Mother Earth, and for our own personal growth and evolution. So what's coming in already that I want to share before we get into the cards is that we are going through a massive purge around ancestral lines, around our family lines, around the programs, or let's call it like the behaviors that we picked up in childhood, the behaviors that we picked up from our parents and from our siblings. And it's not that we adopted them from our siblings or necessarily adopted them from our parents, but we may have created coping mechanisms or ways of being to deal with certain situations that were continuously happening in our family unit. So those things are coming up really strongly now for us to release and to let go and to repattern, right? So it's really about deprogramming the behavior and recreating a new behavior, a new way of being, a new way of standing in our own truth and standing in our wholeness, right? So that is the message. That is the main thing that's coming through so strongly right now. And so now we're going to pick some cards and see the messages that come through to support this and what the energy is behind everything that is happening at this moment in time. So I invite you to take a few slow, gentle, deep breaths into your belly. As you inhale, let your belly expand in all directions. As you exhale, allow your belly to relax. And just bring yourself into centeredness, into presence, into full consciousness and awareness to be here now as you receive these messages. All right, so the first card's coming through. Oh, wow. The first card coming through is Vesica Pisces, and you may or may not know I'm living here in Glastonbury, England, and this symbol is so potent. It is such a prominent thing here. We have the chalice well, and the chalice well has this symbol in this way. And so we also have the Vesica Pisces pool in the Chalice Well Gardens. So the Chalice Well, or excuse me, the Vesica Pisces, let me come back to the card now. The Vesica Pisces is the symbol of the sacred union. So the mother, the father, the child, the divine mother, the divine father, divine spirit, sacred feminine, sacred masculine, sacred union. So this card right here, it's totally supporting what I was talking about our family line and pulling from, whatever ways we are coping or our behaviors that we are imprinted, through our coping mechanisms, through how we were growing up from our parents, right? And so the other invitation with this card coming up, because it's showing up for us in a way that we start to mother ourselves, we start to father ourselves. We are the feminine and the masculine united. We are the harmony of both energies working together. Most of us on the planet have been living predominantly in the disempowered masculine energy or disempowered feminine energy. So there are so many layers and aspects to this that I'm not going to delve into them all. But the sacred feminine, right? When we are in the empowerment of the feminine, we are fully open and fully receptive. And the energy is an inward energy, right? It is this vessel, it is the receiving aspect. The masculine, when in that empowered state, is the giving aspect, it is the action. Right? So we have the intuitive receiving and then the inspired action that we take from the feminine into the masculine. Now, when we're in the disempowerment, the feminine goes inward, so that inward struggle becomes victim consciousness. The masculine is the outward energy, the action energy. And so what that becomes is a war, an external struggle. So there are two ways of being and living on this planet that have held us in these disempowered states. And this card is really asking us now to come into the healed aspects, the empowered aspects of these feminine and masculine energies within us, for us to parent ourselves, for us to look at our family line, look at what these programs are that we are replaying over and over and over again. What behaviors do you continuously fall into that are holding you in that pattern, that are keeping you in that child kind of, let's just say childish nature, right? Not childlike, because childlike is playful and, in the moment. But childish is like what we are doing when we are reacting. So what can we do? What steps can we take to nurture ourselves as the mothering figure for ourselves? What aspects can we shift in our life to protect ourselves as the masculine energy would protect, right? So taking those steps necessary, looking inward and doing that inner inventory of where the misalignment is happening, where the reactions are happening, and to really come into a harmony of allowing both the feminine and the masculine, the mother and the father archetypes within us to really, really be present and really be in that empowered state, so that we can come into the rebirth of our divine childlike nature. And then we can start to create from that space of centeredness, of presence, of groundedness, and of empowerment, of really feeling strong in our individuality, strong in our wholeness. So the next card coming through is light beings. Now, we are also at a time where there are so many beings that are surrounding us right now, whether we are aware of them or not, whether we see them or not, whether we have contact with them or not. Some of us have these abilities that are already online, and we are making contact and communication with light beings and with our star lineage. So this invitation with this card coming through is, if you are feeling the nudge, if you are feeling the pull towards a certain star system, whether it's Pleiades or Sirius or Arcturians, the Lemurians, older civilizations like Atlantis, right? If you're feeling like, if you hear these words and there's something ringing true for you and it's really pulling at your heartstrings, maybe it's time for you to start reading or to research a little bit, just to receive a little more information and feel the resonance or the dissonance, right? It's like, notice what you're experiencing. And if that is not something that is calling to you to read, or to, maybe there's a book that you've been wanting to read, like that's what's coming through. I'm feeling that very strongly for someone here. So if there is a book that you've been waiting, that's sitting in your cart and you haven't purchased it yet, purchase the book and start reading the book. And if this isn't for you in that way, meditation is a great way to make contact. Meditation and simple awareness. The thing is, with these, star family light beings that are here supporting us, they are there watching and holding space. they cannot interfere with our process. They cannot make things happen or not make things happen. We can reach out to them for support. We can call them in, just like our spirit team and our spirit guides. We can ask for assistance. We can ask for further support. So if that resonates, make the contact, be open to receive. Oh, the next card, it's so amazing. You are the universe. So this is the reminder that you are not only this being here on the planet, like this singular self. You are everything. You are part of all of creation. You are the microcosm and the macrocosm. You know, it is that teaching, as within, so without. As the universe, so the soul, right? You are this individual soul and you are the entire universe. You're the drop in the ocean and the entire ocean, right? So you have this potential when you start to identify as the universe, as an aspect, as a divine vessel of creation, right? As a clear channel for your divinity. When you start to identify with that, with being part of the universal blueprint, and a very important part of the universal blueprint, when you start identifying with that higher nature and that most expansive version of you, the highest expression of you, you start to pull in all the signs, the synchronicities, the symbols, the events, the opportunities, the light beings, there, it's all coming in for us to support us on our journey, because we are meant to reclaim our divine inheritance, which is to be a full emanation of our highest expression, of our cosmic nature, of our divinity. And so it really is an invitation to identify in the correct way, not identifying with the limited self, not identifying with the belief systems, the structures, not identifying with those behaviors that I talked about at the beginning that come from our coping mechanisms, that come from some things that we may have adopted from our parents and our siblings and our, people in our life as children. It is time to release that. It is time to start to identify as the unlimited self that you are, in your unlimited potential, your infinite nature. And from that space of really making contact and connection with your divinity, with your source energy, abundance is your birthright. Abundance starts to show up in so many different ways and unexpected ways. It's not about clinging. It's not about micromanaging. It's not about, continuously hustling to make things happen. So much just fell out of the deck. I'll get to that in a second. Okay. So, it really is about being present, right? The childlike nature, being in awe, being in awareness as a witness to what is unfolding in your life. Okay, so here comes in the divine masculine, right? The divine masculine, and I just said it's not about micromanaging. Divine masculine is this, and I love that there's a flame and then the heart is there and present, and the lotus, it's like opening to your sacred feminine to receive the guidance, and the divine masculine being supported by the feminine within is the one that takes the inspired action. It is all about that, right? So it is about coming into that stillness, that childlike nature, so that the divine masculine within you can take the action. When you receive the message that it's time, when you are clear about the next step, that is when it is meant to happen. That is when we are meant to move forward. And again, remember at the beginning of this reading, it's all about coming into your own individuality, free from all the chains and all the bondage and all the things that have been holding us into old patterning from our childhood. It is now time to be the individual, the unique expression that we are. And that divine masculine energy is going to help us to express it, right? It's going to help us to be who we are on the planet and move forward in that authentic expression of who we are. Oh, I love this too. Divine animals. So there are going to be some animals that you feel connected to. And right here we have, I just love that the lion is on this card. And the number 22. So there's a few things popping through here that I'm seeing, right? So be courageous, right? That it's like the lion's heart. It's like opening ourselves into the expansion. And we're also in the month of July, which is all about the aura. It is about expanding our radiance so that we magnetically attract into our life what it is that we are here to receive. And it's about being clear about what it is we want. And so the stronger our aura is, the clearer the projection is, the clearer we are internally. And then through that projection, through our broadcasting system of our auric field, of our magnetic field, we're sending out the signal into the universe and signaling. I'm like, I've lost the cards here. The You Are the Universe card, wherever that one went, it's here. So the You Are the Universe card is when you are projecting from your aura as an emanation of it all, right? You are starting to attract in everything that supports you on your journey in your unique expression. So the divine animals coming in, we have the heart expansion. We are in that month of the 7. The lion is like the preparatory phase. We're in this preparatory phase in July, preparing us for the 8-8 portal, known as the Lion's Gate portal. And, it really is about opening to our next level of consciousness. And 8-8 is all about the abundance. It's all about abundance. The 22, what an amazing number. I mean, it's highly connected to the sacred feminine through the Magdalene lineage. That is one aspect of it. 22 is also another number for sacred union, bringing those two aspects in. So, there's some hidden symbolism in this card. However, when we're looking at divine animals, what animals do you feel deeply connected with? And what animals are showing up? So, there's been moments in my life where I've received messages from animals. I know that there was a moment in time a few months ago where, I was going, and there was a lot of tasks I had on my plate. And I remember coming to my front door and seeing a snail stuck to the wall, stuck to the brick wall outside my front door. And I looked and I saw this snail, and it was just hanging out there for a few days. Eventually it made its way somewhere else, but this snail was there, and I'm like, okay, thank you for this message, right? Thank you for this message to slow down. I hear you. I see you. I hear you, And so there will be animals that show up. There's also multiple times I've seen praying mantis, sitting outside my window and just hanging out there outside my bedroom window. And to me, that is an invitation for stillness, right? So there are messages all around us. It's about being open and present to receive those messages. Now, next card coming in is wellness. So take some time to do the things for yourself that are going to help you to stay in alignment. Do the extra self-care practices. Maybe you need to start cleaning up your diet. Maybe your body is starting to give you messages. Maybe you're having inflammation happen because of the certain foods that you're eating, and it's like but you're not actually taking the action. I'm sorry. There's so many messages landed out of here. Here we go. The divine masculine. I think next time I'm going to set this up a little bit more where I just hold them all out, because I didn't expect to be pulling cards back from previous part of the reading. So divine masculine, right? It's like wellness. Take the action that you need so that you can be in balance, so that you can be well nourished, well taken care of, and then you will be able to take the next step, right? So if you're receiving messages to make adjustments, to shift and change some of the things that you're doing in your life, to create more space, the time is now, because everything is accelerating. This healing process is no joke. And if we do not take this step of wellness for ourselves, if we do not answer the call of, taking care of our bodies, it will break down, right? We are resilient to a point, and it is important to really take care and listen to those messages and receive them, and then take the action necessary in order for our energy to be recharged and in order for our body to be prepared for the next downloads, for the next level of our consciousness to anchor in, right? So all of this is important. Here comes the next card. Authentic truth, right? So all of this, all of these aspects are leading us to be the embodiment of our authentic truth, right? And it started with the Vesica Pisces. It started with coming back to ourself, coming back to the feminine and the masculine energies within us to embody the empowered sacred feminine, empowered sacred masculine, and to come into the rebirth of that sacred child, the sacred child that we are. And from that, we start to express our authentic truth. We start to express ourselves without the story masking who we are. We start to express ourselves in a state of open-heartedness, in a state of that childlike nature, right? The joy, the inspiration, that's also part of the July energy. With the aura, the more open our heart is, the more joy we feel, the more inspiration comes in, the more we follow our bliss, and the more we are a like expression of the bliss inside, right? And when we're lit up, we're lighting others up. And really, we are here for that. We are here to be the living example of the highest expression, of the expansion, of the joy, the bliss, the happiness, the love. And the more that we open to that, the more we receive, the more we are on that trajectory of our soul's mission. So, the main message to wrap this up is to be in the presence, to be in the awareness of the patterns, of the behaviors that are now releasing, and to step into a new way of being, a new way of responding instead of reacting to situations, especially coming from our ancestral family line, so that we can individuate, so that we can be our own being, standing on our own 2 feet without being codependent, without being stuck in the pattern, without being reactive, and truly being a clear vessel of our own divine expression. So I'm going to end with one card here coming from the angelic activations, and seeing what message comes forth to seal this reading today. Okay, so the card is Haniel, Downloads of Intuition. Trust what is coming to you, for the information is absolutely a glimpse of the future. Your psychic gifts are heightened at the moment, and it's essential for you to take the time to record what is coming from within. As a reminder, nothing is set in stone, and therefore, if your intentions change, you can absolutely rewrite what is to come. But you are receiving information that will serve you on your way. The activation message is, I trust my intuition and psychic gifts. So with that, there is the remembrance that when we hold space for our sacred feminine energy to receive and start to trust those messages coming in. We can then take those action steps through the sacred masculine within. And when we take those inspired, aligned actions, we're fully in alignment with the truth of who we are in our authentic expression. And the gateway is through the heart. The gateway is through the heart because the heart, when it is open, it opens. See this halo around her head, right? Well, we all have this energetic halo, and this energetic halo is our connecting point between the cosmic realm and the physical body that we are in. And this is where all of the messages come through the higher brain centers, through our pituitary or pineal gland, and we start to receive these messages. So keep coming back to the open-heartedness. Every time that you start to contract or you start to get into a fear or a trigger, relax, relax, relax. And the more that you can relax, the more that you can accept where you're at. And then you can allow the feelings to come through. And then once you accept and allow, and you're in that relaxed state, you can choose to change. So this is the message for today. Thank you so much for joining me. And remember to subscribe to my channel. I will be back next week with another reading, and I will see you again very soon.